Family, love, freedom, intention. That is what this moment represents. Because when Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, posted that breathtaking image of her husband holding her daughter at sunset with red balloons floating into the sky, she wasn't just sharing a Valentine's Day post. She was making a statement without saying a single controversial word. These two, plus Archie, equal my forever Valentines. Simple, soft, powerful. And today, we're going to unpack why this photo matters, why it's more than cute, why it's more than a family snapshot, and why moments like this continue to frustrate the critics while strengthening the Sussex narrative in the most organic way possible. Because make no mistake, this image speaks volumes. First, let's talk about the visual. The setting is calm, lush green lawn, tall palm trees, a golden sunset that feels almost cinematic. And at the center of it all is Prince Harry holding his daughter Lilibet in his arms, not posing, not performing, just being a father. He's looking at her with that unmistakable softness, the kind of look you cannot fake, the kind of look that tells you this man is fully present. Lilibet is wrapped around him comfortably, holding on to those red balloons like childhood magic itself. There's no palace balcony, no stiff formality, no choreographed wave, just warmth. And that right there is the quiet revolution. For decades, royal imagery has been curated through institutions, moments filtered through hierarchy, children presented at specific intervals in specific outfits, at specific angles. But here, this is a father and daughter at sunset in what looks like their own space, their own world, their own timing. That matters, because this is what autonomy looks like. Now let's talk about the caption. These two, plus Archie, equal my forever Valentines. Notice what she didn't do. She didn't write a paragraph defending anything. She didn't reference critics. She didn't perform for headlines. She centered her husband and her children. That's it. There is something incredibly grounding about a woman publicly claiming her family as her core joy. Especially a woman who has had her marriage questioned, her motherhood dissected, and her intentions scrutinized for years. Instead of engaging the noise, she posted love. That's power. Let's go deeper. Valentine's Day is traditionally about romance, couples, flowers, public gestures. But Meghan reframed it in a very intentional way. Her forever Valentines are not just her husband, but her children. That speaks to priorities. It tells us that for her, love is not spectacle, it's not performative tradition, it's foundational, it's the daily lived experience of partnership and parenthood. And if you followed their journey closely, you know that family has always been the center of their decisions. When they stepped back from royal duties, they made it clear their son's well-being mattered, their mental health mattered, their future mattered. Now, years later, this image quietly reinforces that choice. Look at the environment. It feels free, open, unrestricted, the kind of childhood you can run barefoot on grass instead of navigating corridors of protocol. That matters. And critics may try to spin it. They always do. But what they cannot erase is the authenticity in Harry's face as he holds his daughter. There's something deeply healing about watching him as a father. Remember, this is a man who has spoken openly about losing his own mother at a young age, a man who has carried visible grief for decades. To now see him holding his daughter at sunset, fully present, fully engaged, is powerful. It feels like breaking cycles. It feels intentional. It feels like a man determined to give his children something different. Now let's talk about narrative control. For years, images of the royal family have been released strategically, carefully timed, often through specific media outlets. That dynamic shaped perception. But this is direct, shared on her own platform, on her own terms, with her own caption. There's no intermediary telling us what to think. That independence unsettles people who prefer traditional channels of influence, because when you remove gatekeepers, you remove distortion. And what's left is simply a mother sharing a tender family moment. Let's also acknowledge the symbolism of the balloons. Red balloons are playful, childlike, but red is also the color of love, strength, and vitality. They're floating upward, almost like hope rising. And visually, they frame Harry and Lilibet in a way that feels intentional but not staged. It's soft storytelling. And the internet noticed. Supporters responded with warmth. Many commented on how natural the moment felt, how grounded, how real. That authenticity is the Sussex brand now. Not royalty as institution, but royalty as humanity. There is also something very subtle happening here. We do not see faces in full detail. The children's privacy remains protected. The image shares emotion without oversharing identity. That balance is deliberate. It says, we will share love, but we will not surrender boundaries. That distinction is important in an era where children of public figures are often commodified for engagement. This is protection with presence, and that takes intention. Now, let's address the critics who always appear whenever the Sussexes post anything. They will say it's calculated. They will say it's strategic. They will say it's timed. But here's the truth. Even if something is thoughtfully shared, that does not negate sincerity. Thoughtfulness is not manipulation. In fact, being intentional about what you show your audience is responsible. And this image does not scream strategy. It whispers family. It whispers safety. It whispers contentment. Look at Harry's posture. He is relaxed. He is grounded. He is smiling. For someone who has endured relentless media pursuits since childhood, that kind of relaxed joy is significant. It tells a story of a man who found stability. And whether critics like it or not, Meghan is part of that story. You cannot separate his visible ease from the life they built together. That's partnership. Now, let's address the bigger cultural context. For generations, royal fatherhood was often distant in public imagery, formal, reserved, structured. Harry represents something different. He kneels, he hugs, he laughs openly, he carries his children freely. That shift resonates with modern audiences. It reflects contemporary fatherhood values, presence, emotional accessibility, physical affection. And this image reinforces that evolution. Meghan's caption also subtly reinforces unity. These two plus Archie. She didn't exclude, she didn't separate, she included their son even though he isn't visible in the photo. That tells us something. Love in that household is collective. It's not centered around one child, one image, one moment. It's the whole family unit. That language matters. There is also a quiet confidence in sharing happiness publicly after years of public strain. When people have tried to predict divorce, when people have tried to manufacture conflict, when people have speculated endlessly, posting a serene, joyful family moment is not just sentimental, it's stabilizing. It says, we are here, we are intact, we are thriving, without addressing rumors directly. That's elegant. Now, from a content perspective, this is why moments like this resonate so deeply with your audience. They humanize, they cut through headlines, they remind viewers that behind every tabloid narrative are real people raising real children. And when you frame your video around that humanity, it shifts the tone from gossip to reflection. Because at the core, this is about love. And love is difficult to attack without looking cruel. There's also something visually poetic about sunset. Sunset symbolizes transition, growth, the closing of one chapter and the promise of another day. Harry's life has been defined by transition. from prince within the institution to independent global figure, from grieving son to protective father. Seeing him in that light, literally bathed in golden sunset, feels symbolic of evolution. It's subtle but powerful imagery. Now, let's be honest. If this same image had been released within palace walls years ago, it would have been hailed as charming, endearing, modern monarchy. But because it exists outside that system, some will attempt to diminish it. That contrast reveals more about the critics than about the couple, because love does not lose value based on location. This moment also reinforces the decision to step back. When you see freedom in someone's body language, it's hard to argue they made the wrong choice. Harry looks present. Lilibet looks comfortable. That matters more than titles. And Meghan's role in shaping this environment cannot be ignored. She has consistently emphasized mental health, boundaries, and intentional living. This image reflects those values in action. It is not loud activism. It is lived philosophy. Now, let's zoom out even further. Public figures often struggle to maintain authenticity as their platform grows. The pressure to perform increases. Yet this post feels intimate rather than promotional. There's no brand tie-in, no product placement, no call to action. Just family. In a media landscape driven by monetization, that simplicity stands out. For your video, this is where you emphasize contrast. Contrast the noise with the quiet. Contrast speculation with evidence. Contrast performance with presence. Because what we see in this image is presence, and presence is powerful. It's also worth acknowledging the emotional maturity required to share joy when you've been publicly attacked. Some people retreat completely. Some retaliate constantly. This feels balanced, measured visibility, protected privacy, authentic expression. That's growth. And at the center of it all is that caption, Forever Valentines. Not temporary, not seasonal, forever. That language suggests permanence, commitment, security. And in a world that thrives on scandal cycles, permanence is radical. So when you present this on your channel, lean into that. Lean into the calm strength of it. Lean into the symbolism. Lean into the visible affection. Because critics may try to manufacture drama, but drama struggles to compete with genuine warmth. This photo doesn't need defending. It speaks for itself. A father holding his daughter at sunset, red balloons lifting into the sky, a mother celebrating her family publicly. No spectacle, just love. And sometimes the most revolutionary thing a public figure can do is show stability, show peace, show joy. Because joy unsettles those who profit from chaos. And this image radiates joy. In the end, beyond debates, beyond institutions, beyond narratives, this is what remains. Family, partnership, intentional parenthood, and a woman proudly declaring that her husband and her children are her forever Valentines. That is not controversy. That is clarity. And clarity is powerful. Thank you for watching, and happy Valentine, my lovely family.